Please sit back, relax, and enjoy the Intermission Show with tonight's guests from Austin, Texas, Jack Gallagher. Joining us also from Charleston, South Carolina, Lauren Osler. And back with us here in Pittsburgh, Zachary Rudder. And finally, from somewhere in a fine residential community, this is the Intermission Show with your host, Joey Dacey.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Episode 4. I didn't think we were going to make it this far. This is 4 episodes longer than I thought I was going to be doing this. But it's been so much fun every week. We just have awesome guests, and it's more and more fun. Obviously, I'm still unemployed, so this is my current gig. And I'm having a ton of fun. I'm getting to interview a lot of friends, people I haven't seen for a while, worked with in a while. So it really has been a blast. So I kind of want to bring you up to speed, kind of on what we do here and things we've done in the past couple weeks. So I do this all from my house. This is the only time I dress up. Every other day I don't wear pants. So I wear a suit, got to put on. I'm just trying to mimic my man Jimmy Fallon as best I can. So one of the reasons why I want to do the show is, like I said, I got a lot of friends in the entertainment, music, service industry, business guys, entrepreneurs, and I kind of just wanted to use this as a platform to check in on them, say what's up, and ultimately just, have some fun. I mean, everyone's bored at home. I don't know about you guys. I'm bored. I'm ready to get back to work. So just trying to use this as some time to get back and have some, kick back and have some fun. So you might be asking yourself, where did I get the name for the show? Well, the name comes from, I do this at the beginning of every show, it comes from this photo. And it's actually from the Bytum Theater downtown in Pittsburgh. And on their marquee, it just says, "This is just an intermission." And I think that's a perfect example for what's going on in the world right now, especially music industry guys. We're just on pause. So we're just kind of hanging here, waiting until the government will let us open up and, people are ready to have fun again. So that's the name of the show. Also, you might remember we had Jason from the owner of TBG Tuning. He was on last week, and I have to give a big shout out to him. Yesterday, they actually delivered 80 meals to some first responders out their way, and they partnered up with another friend of ours, Frankie Wasik from Frank and Francis Restaurant in Shadyside, who's our sponsor this week, conveniently. So just wanted to give some highlight to them. They're awesome people, just doing great things for the community. So just wanted to, shine some light to them. For people that are joining us for the first time, I want to kind of show you what's going on behind the scenes. This is my house in Greenfield. Set it up as a studio a couple weeks ago to work with my good friend DJ PDC. He does a live stream every week. So I was on the turntables that week, and I was DJing, and I set up all the cameras, and we had a ton of fun. So I had all the gear set up, and I said, why not? Let's turn this into a show. So we got our guests on this one. We got cue cards here. We got the live stream over here. Full-fledged studio. Jimmy Fallon, I'm coming for your job. So without further ado, I want to go into our first guest of the night. He is the man, the myth, the legend, Jack Gallagher. So now it's time for our first guest. Jack is a friend of mine whom I met when I snuck backstage at the Styles Complete show in Texas. We went on to collaborate on a few shows here in Pittsburgh, and he is now the manager of Adam Melchor and Mount Joy. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming Jack to the show. Jack, how are you?
Doing well. How are you, Joey?
I'm doing good, man. You're still down in Texas?
I am in Austin, Texas now.
How is it?
It's all right. It's like, compared to what it looks like it is in other places in the country, it's relatively chill. People seem to be like staying well behaved and away from each other. I can't speak for all of Texas, but Austin seems like they're doing their part. So,
are the bars open?
So a week ago, the governor of Texas made it so that places could be up to 25% capacity, which is pretty silly for most establishments. And I think a lot of people in Austin chose not to open for like PR reasons, or they can't make money with that like level of capacity. But I don't know about the rest of Texas. I think a lot of people are really trying to get their businesses going up and going again, which is understandable, but probably not the move right this second.
Yeah, we're pretty much in the same boat. The 25% seems to be the number going around. And like you said, it's a business move. Sometimes it just doesn't make sense to even open to have 25% occupancy. So, Austin, Texas, you've been, you're from North Carolina, though.
Yeah, grew up in the Midwest, but I moved to North Carolina as a freshman in high school, Chapel Hill. Went to college there as well. And I bounced around a little bit since then. But I guess when we met, it was the first time I was living in Austin. Between then, I lived in LA for a couple of years, but I've been back for almost 4 years.
Yeah. Do you remember that when I snuck backstage?
I don't remember that exact event, and I was actually trying to like pinpoint the exact moment when we met each other and became friends. But I think whenever the exact moment was, I could tell that our like personalities aligned and that we're both hustlers. And at the time, this was probably 2013 or probably 2014.
Yep, you're hitting the nail on the head. It was at South by Southwest, and we're going to talk about that later.
Yeah,
I had some friends that were at the show, so it wasn't really sneaking back there, but It was we hit it off, and luckily enough, we've been able to work together, and I hope to continue working with you for years to come.
Definitely.
So for the people that don't know, you're an artist manager in the music world. Mm-hmm. So explain to the people, what exactly is that?
An artist manager is like the CEO of the company that is a band or musician or creative of any kind. Kind of like running the ship, because we have a lot of different members of the team, like bands that are doing well. They'll also have a booking agent who's focused on booking the shows, but I'm working with them hand in hand. They'll have a label potentially, so I'll be working with them, press people, the crew that they're on the road with, sync people who are trying to get your songs in television and movies and anything where music is played. And also nowadays pitching to DSPs, which are your streaming services. That's oftentimes like another member of the team as well. So I'm kind of making sure all those conversations are aligned and that people are excited about what's going on with the project and, moving forward. It's a very like intensive day-to-day job, like where things pop up every day and you're responsible for that, like small silly things. And it's also like a big picture job where you're trying to like create what the vision is for that artist and set goals to get to like those wherever they're trying to get.
Yeah, so I watched your interview today when you were at Loyola.
Yeah.
And it was a good interview. And you said something there that I want to bring back. I don't think people realize, and with all the service industry music people I've had on my show, I don't think people realize the amount of stuff that goes on behind the scenes. When you just go to a show, it's not just the show. It's weeks and months and years of pre-planning that's normally done by you and your team. And you gave a shout out to your team on that. You said, I'm not an island. I got a crew of people that I'm working with every day, whether it be the radio, promotions, and that really hit home. So I was like, I tip my hat to you. You gave shout outs to all your people. It's a whole team of people working on it.
Yeah, especially when things are really working. I've been on an island before as a manager, where I was doing everything, and it's not ideal. You kind of want to bring in experts at what they do in each individual like sector of the business. And when you have all of those things clicking together, like, and the music's good and the band works hard and it's a good live show, with all this piece working together, you can have a lot of success. Without them, you'll have as much success as you have via a lot of which would be luck, I guess.
Well, I've got to see you grow from just a couple artists to now you're on big tours. So it's been fun to watch you put together everything. So it's been awesome.
I would say the same. I would say because when we met, you were hustling, doing a bunch of different things, a Renaissance man, and since then you became like more of a businessman. Not that you weren't back then, but now you own a few different places with your family, which I think is really cool. And I think you've been kind of like on the cutting edge of a few different businesses that are like gaining a lot of popularity around the U.S. and the world now. So it's been fun to like do that, and with envy a lot of times too, because I'm like, dang, I kind of want to start my own business like that. But it's been really cool to watch.
That means a lot. That seriously means a lot coming from you. And again, going back to the interview, one of the things he said is, your phone doesn't stop ringing. You're at a family dinner or on vacation. Jack's phone never stops ringing. Let me tell you, for example, 1 minute before we were about to go live, Jack is working with one of his artists. They're doing a live stream. And
I can show it right now.
You got to show it. This is called production value, baby.
He's got.
So explain what's going on.
So Matt, the lead singer of Mount Joy, is doing a show for some folks right now on Zoom where he'll play like 5 songs for, someone that purchased it online. But we're doing these. We got an album coming out June 5th. So when we don't have shows, so we're trying to find unique ways to pre-sell the album and before it comes out. And for people that want to see them, this one, for example, is a husband bought his wife a Zoom party for like all their friends. The production value is like not what we'd like and not like what would you usually expect for a Mount Joy show, but it's still kind of cool for like, this experience is pretty unique. And I think it's an example of some of the good that has came from this terrible thing. There's been in this like little show you're doing and like I haven't seen your face in a while. So like there are little things within this that I think will take either best practices or ways that we're going to like improve what we do or how we live. And also just like little things like this, I guess.
Yeah, I totally agree. I just got off a FaceTime with my sister right before you, and so many people are just trying to pivot what they're doing right now and play the hand that they're dealt. Obviously, we can't go into venues and have shows and whatnot, but we're trying to make the best of it. And I think that's why I like you. That's why I've always looked up to you. You're a hustler, and the people that are going to sit back and relax and just wait for this thing to pass, they're going to be the ones that get passed up.
Yeah,
and that's why I've always looked up to you. Jack used to work at a venue at South by Southwest called Empire when I was down there. This man, I'm literally just going to toot your horn for the next couple of minutes. He worked from sun up to sundown. And if you don't know what South by Southwest...
That was a crazy year in particular.
I'm putting a little photo up. South by Southwest is a music festival in Texas, Austin, Texas, where Jack actually is right now. That photo that's on the screen right now is of 6th Street. It's just showing a mob of people. Basically it's a week-long music festival. The week before that's tech and there's movies and it's unbelievable. If you don't know what it is, look it up. And Jack worked at a venue from sun up to sundown, working everything you could think of. My man had an earpiece in his ear and was running around doing everything. All while his artists were there and working, and he was trying to network and get them to shows and make sure everything was set up. So when I saw Jack working at that point, I was like, this dude is a hustler. So I tip my hat to you.
That was a unique year because this venue they had the guys, shout out Steve Sternshine and the Machinist Brothers. They had just purchased a venue that they'd already done South by for a couple years, but it was like it was a brand new, it was an old venue with a brand new team. And they were trying to do like super legit stuff and super legit shows, which they did and they accomplished, but at a venue that wasn't necessarily ready for it. So it was a little bit of a shit show, but no one, like I would hope that no one could tell that because we worked really hard. But South by is just a very unique. It is a music festival. It's not a music festival because it's more of like a city takeover that like the gas station on the corner could be doing a big show. And so if you're a music fan and you're down for and you're not bothered by annoyances that events might bring, because it can be quite annoying because there's so many people and so many distractions. It's really an exciting place to see new music and just like really cool events. And that year at Empire was exactly that, but it was super crazy. We were sleeping like 3 hours a night. The security guys were like sleeping on like behind stages and stuff. Like you literally lived there for like 11 days.
That's why I said you were in the trenches, and I will never lose respect for you because of that, because you work so hard. So I tip my hat to you. I do got one question I've been wanting to ask you kind of since you started to flourish in your career in the last couple years. And that's kind of how do I want to say this? When you approach talent or you see talent, somebody that you're interested in managing. Mm-hmm. The example that I'm using is Scooter Braun. Mm-hmm. Scooter Braun, if you don't know, is Justin Bieber's manager. Justin Bieber was posting these YouTube videos online. He like tracked him down through YouTube videos and was relentless until he found out who he was, and ultimately he became his manager. So I'm asking Jack this question. There's talent that you see out there, somebody you want to work with, manage. What's your secret sauce? How do you approach them?
I think like talent, you find out about it or they find out about you in different ways. I think oftentimes talent finds you because as a manager, if you're already like somewhat established, you have a couple other clients. And bands, I think, oftentimes do their research as to like who's doing well and who's around them. And talk to people because they see, a client that you manage, and that's like a credit to like all the work done by like the team as a whole. But they see the work that's done by the band, and maybe I'm more on the business side too, and they're interested in working with you because of that. For me, a lot of times, like I definitely am very tuned into, stuff online, be it either Spotify or Apple Music or Instagram, or now you have to worry about TikTok, which I'm not like fully on
Me
board.
either. I have no idea what's going on in there. It's like the Wild
I know
Wild West.
I have to adapt though, and I'm sure the CD guy said that about Spotify, so I'm not going to be that guy, but I do have to learn more about TikTok and how that works. But I'm paying attention a lot to what's going on online, and I go to a ton of shows with my bands and with also just in Austin or wherever I am. And I think some of those bands that I've seen have really gone places like that. Maybe you might have seen something in them that you would have thought that would happen, and sometimes you don't. And I think it's a combination, kind of how you find talent, and then when you're trying to sign talent. For me, it's like I'd rather try to work with you for a bit, because sometimes it doesn't work on either end. Sometimes they don't like your style of work. I'm sure that's the same thing with employees at the places that you work.
Absolutely.
And sometimes the same is the case where you find out that maybe they have talent, but there's something that doesn't work well with like your workflow or personality. And I think that's so important with music, especially because it's not a unique field in like the work that you're doing and the lifestyle. So I think you do have to get along. I'm sure there's been plenty of successful people in the business that really haven't got along with who they work with. But that's not something I'm like really interested in doing. So that's been really important for me too, as like I build out who I work with and kind of like take those projects to the next level too. It's just like a developing relationship.
Yeah, and it goes back to kind of what we said from the beginning. Like, you live with these artists, you're their lifeline. So if you're not genuinely in the trenches with them and care about them, kind of like what you said in your interview that I watched, it's a 24-hour relationship. So and I think you're very good at it. In the meantime, I was throwing some pictures up. One, it looks like Red Rocks with Son of Kick. That was a really old photo from your Instagram. And then I threw up a lot. Some of your most recent photos on your Instagram are flyers.
My Instagram is bad, by the way. It's mostly flyers and
trust
stuff.
me.
It's not ideal for engagement.
I spent way too much time on your Instagram. You got to step your Instagram up, my man.
I know. I'm not
Hey, but you know what? That's because you're too busy. It's because you're too busy working.
Yeah.
But I want to highlight you got some flyers from Jimmy Kimmel. It looks like Conan. How excited were you to land those music gigs for Mountjoy, one of the bands you manage?
I mean, the first one's really crazy. When the first time we got booked, and that was for Conan O'Brien, because this is for a band called Mountjoy. There's not a lot of things for like in the music business, like echelons, where you can really explain to your friends and family like what you're doing, and like grandma understands what late night television is. So it feels really special for like your grandma, who you've told that you have like a legitimate career for some time, like actually seeing that. But also just the whole thing is cool, and these personalities and like the pros that you're working with at those shows. It's just an interesting, late night TV is an interesting thing, like phenomenon. Nerve wracking. The first one, I definitely was like, the Mountjoy talked to me afterwards, like, you can't be pacing and stuff when we're about to go on. So like that's the thing too. You do learn along the way, like in having good feedback with having good communication with your artists and people you work with, like how to become better at your job. So I think that first one, I was ill prepared, but since then we've done a few more and a few different types of settings. And it's not as special as the first one because they're kind of the same. It's a little bit like Groundhog Day, but the hosts are all different, which is cool. Seeing a different song like that you worked so hard on with that band be highlighted is really cool, and it gives you like, you know, every kind of like win in the business, and late night TV being one of them, gives you hope that that song and that band could like take another step towards their goals, which is really cool. The same I think is true for like Red Rocks. It's like, it's arguably, you know, one of the best venues in the world because of
It's my favorite venue that I've never been to.
You have to go. Mountjoy is supposed to have 2 shows there this summer with Rainbow Kitten Surprise, and they're both postponed, unfortunately. But it's Son of Kick played there, who now he still has that brand, but now he goes by Born Dirty. Mika, producer, really talented. He opened for Bass Nectar, which is a wild experience. We were there for like 3 days.
I've seen the production on that. It's crazy.
Yeah, it was just another one that was like, okay, some of the things we're doing are working. But it's kind of like anything in life. When you like experience those wins and you live them, you have to appreciate them. And I have to like remind myself to do that, because sometimes it does feel like the same as other experiences. It's really special, but then you got to kind of like keep it moving, because it's like people forget, and it's not necessarily that important. If you just play Red Rocks once as a musician, like, and that's like was your biggest moment, you definitely you probably didn't have like a whole professional career in music, like a long-term career, which is fine, but it's just like a piece of the puzzle for like a lot of these.
And you know the top, Madison Square Garden, baby.
I know the Garden. That would be amazing someday to do. We Mountjoy just went on a tour with the Lumineers where they played 28 arenas that were mostly basketball arenas throughout the U.S. So we played Barclays in Brooklyn. And that was that whole tour was so cool. Another just experience for me. Like the biggest venue they had ever played was probably a 4,000 cap, opening up for another artist, and their biggest headlining show was like 2,500 tickets. So to play in somewhere where it's like 15,000 tickets and seeing the production that goes behind it, I mean, it's insane. Like the Lumineers have like, I'm not positive on the number, but I think like 70 people in their crew and band and everything. And it's a well-oiled machine. And so that's kind of like, it's great for me and the band to see that, having not seen it before up close and personal for like a month and a half, to, you know, kind of readjust our goals and think what our team could look like long-term. And it's really inspiring. Like those,
they played PPG Console, our arena in Pittsburgh. Shout out to Jack, got me the tickets. Unreal. Yeah. And I got to see his band probably about 3 months, maybe 6 months before that, play at the Roxy, which is a smaller theater. Awesome theater, by the way, venue. So I got to see them play on a small stage and a big stage, and they rocked it. So Jack's been an absolute legend. Going back to Madison Square Garden, when you get one of your artists to play there, you know I'm going to go see you there.
I got you.
When? So, well, Jack, I got one final little segment, then I'm going to let you go. I kind of do it with most of the guests. It's called rapid fire questions. Just a few questions. You can't think about it.
Okay.
I'm going to throw them at you real quick, and then you're off the hook.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're getting.
I slept a little bit last night, so I'm sure these will be great answers.
All right. So, favorite artist you saw last year?
Oh, geez.
Yep, I went there.
I literally hate those questions, but it would honestly be Mountjoy, like one of their shows.
Boom.
Yeah.
There you go. Travel anywhere in the world. Obviously, when this stuff is over, where are you going?
Japan for the first time. I really want to go.
Love it. If one of your artists asked you to stage dive, would you do it?
No. I wouldn't do it.
Favorite dish when you go out to eat at a restaurant?
It's bad, but it's a cheeseburger. A really good cheeseburger. It's got to be the right restaurant. It's not like, you know.
Can't go wrong with a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Final question. When are you coming to Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh, I really wanted to, like, really get on the bus and hit more spots, and that might not be this fall now. So realistically, let's make it happen next year. And if not, I'm just going to have to get on a plane and get the proper tour. You're going to have to take, like, a day off of work from all of your businesses, and I won't make you go throw axes. We'll do something different.
Jack, I'd take a whole week off, man. I'd take you all around, man. You're the man. I'm so glad to keep in contact with you. Hopefully you're staying safe out there in Austin. thanks for taking time out of your day. And that's it, my man.
Good to see you, Joey. Hope you're doing well. Good luck with everything.
Sounds good, big guy. I'll talk to you.
Bye.
We'll see you. Wow. I'm so glad Jack was available to do that. I cannot tell you, 1 minute before we were going to go live to him, he was dealing with, I think there was 400 people in that live stream, 300 or 400, and he set that up for one of his bands, Mount Joy. And if you didn't realize that, they opened up for the Lumineers this past year. We went to go see them. Me, executive producer Alicia Keys, my parents, Lumineers, great show, Mount Joy, great show. Jack's an awesome guy. He's just one of those guys in the music biz that I look up to, and is really a good guy, a genuine good guy in a kind of cutthroat business. So he's a good guy. So without further ado, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. Next up, we have Lauren Osler as our guest number 2. So just give me a few minutes. I'm going to get her on the hotline, and we will be back. So just hang tight. Thank you, guys. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. So glad we were able to have Jack on, take time out of his busy day. We got our next guest up, Lauren Osler, our second guest of the show. Lauren is a really good friend of mine. We went to grade school together at good old St. Therese. She comes from an awesome family. Her mom is my favorite teacher of all time. I DJ'd her brother Chucky's wedding. Absolutely legendary family. I could go on and on for days, but we're here to interview Lauren. Lauren is currently a neonatal nurse in South Carolina and is in school for her master's to be a family nurse practitioner. Man, that's a big title right there. Lauren, welcome to the show. How are you?
Joe! I love it. How are you?
I'm doing good. How's South Carolina?
It's good. I just poured myself a cold cup of Chardonnay. I'm ready to do this.
Good. You deserved it. You deserved it. How is it down there? Is everything shut down?
Honestly, no.
It's wide open.
I feel like Charleston, we're like 3 months late for everything. So like just 1 week ago, they made me wear a mask to work.
Okay.
Where you guys were forced to wear masks to Giant Eagle 3 months ago.
Lauren, I had to wear a Tyvek suit, bubble wrap, and they still stopped me at the door.
I feel like they just do, everything is behind in Charleston. Like,
Yeah.
We just catch on way late. It's just wild. But the beaches are closed as of now and all the restaurants, but like, it's not nearly as serious as it is in Pittsburgh, which is mind-boggling.
I've been hearing that. I got a friend that lives in Hilton Head, Tim Brashear. Shout out Tim. Same thing. He was like, it's pretty much business as usual. I got some friends in Florida. They're like, we're at the bar right now. So I don't know. PA's behind the times. I don't know. I don't get into politics on the show. We have fun. We talk about goofy stuff. So
Yeah,
just trying to check in. So everything's good in South Carolina.
Yeah, we're good. My roommate and I just had happy hour on our little porch, and we're just giggling. We're good.
Man, that's awesome. You're just living the life down there.
I know. For now.
For now. So the fan mail, obviously, we got thousands and thousands of viewers of the show across the U.S. I mean, the fan mail I've had to get a second mailbox. I had to change my phone number. Everyone's been texting. And one of the biggest requests from last week's show, it was Nurses Appreciation Week last week, was to get a nurse. So I made a phone call. Look what we got.
There she is.
So I'm so glad you took time out of your day to be on the show. And I wanted to get, your opinion, like what's going on at your hospital? What's the atmosphere like?
Yeah. So honestly, I've been so lucky with, I like that you switched to, did you pour your White Claw into that?
Whoa, PG show. I'm only drinking water here.
Cup of coffee. Okay, cool. No, honestly, I've been lucky. Our hospital's been fairly relaxed and not as, like, I give credit to people who are dealing with the COVID stuff, like, daily. Like, I've only had one patient where I've had to, like, totally gown up, gear up, and I was like, this is not for me. 15 minutes, I'm sweating. So we've been lucky. We're working with, like, little babies. We don't really see it as much. We just, like, have been limiting the, like, visitation. So it really hasn't been bad for me. So I'm super lucky in that sense.
That's good to hear. Obviously, you watch the news and it's like, it seems like we're in war and people are, especially the nurses, are just, running ragged, long shifts, dealing with crazy stuff that I'll never have to deal with in my life. So, we tip our hat to you guys. Have you guys been running out of like masks or any of that stuff?
Yeah.
So that's a real
crazy.
thing.
Yes. So like we will, like I said, the one patient I had to wear like the legit N95 like tight as shit to my face. You have to take it off and like into a paint bucket, like
Okay.
and just like reuse it for the whole shift. And I've never like.
That's a little sketchy.
Yeah. I was like, this doesn't seem right. Like, it's 2020. I don't know how like clean this even is. So that was like my first like wake up call. Like, okay, this is serious,
Yeah, that's
But-
awesome. That's good to hear. A real life person, somebody not on the news, just kind of what it's like out there. So it's really good to hear your opinion about this. Obviously, the stuff you hear on the news and stuff, people are ordering food and delivering stuff to the hospitals. Have you guys got any of that?
Yes. You're lucky this is just a facial because down south is a little rough here.
So what have you got? They delivering you like pizza and food? Give me the lowdown.
Yes. Literally. So if you even have a healthcare worker badge, you get a dozen of Krispy Kreme whenever, which I don't like, whatever. So you get the amount of food that we have in our break room is sick. Krispy Kreme, pizza. I mean, I try to just limit myself, but I mean, I'm grateful, but yikes.
I mean, I see these videos of people like delivering carloads of food. Even one of our guests that we had on the show last week, he delivered 80 meals to EMTs and stuff. And the picture was like, it was like a clown car. It was full from sea to roof, full of meals. So, you know me, I'm trying to keep it positive in this crazy world.
You would see her, like, I was like crying the other day because one of our patients who was with us for 4 months, I got super close with their family, and they called me. They were like, "We are outside. Can you come outside?" They had like all this like healthy food. They had like little like salads and like it was just so cute. So people really are like doing good and like just trying to like show support, which I appreciate.
Yeah, it's a shame that it's taken a worldwide pandemic for people to realize how much stuff you guys do and the long hours and the thankless work. So it's a shame that it's taken this, but I tip my hat to you guys, especially, I understand a little bit because my mom was a neonatal nurse for 20 years and it's a thankless job.
I love it. Well, I appreciate you even saying that because I feel like you doing what you're doing, providing entertainment and like putting yourself out there like this, like I would never be able to do what you're doing. Like
this is the easiest thing. I just, sip
I
water,
have, like, a lot of anxiety.
put a suit on and just talk to cool people. It's a pretty easy gig. It's not what you guys do.
Great suit, by the way.
Thanks. Unfortunately, I have one suit to my name. And everything's closed, so you're stuck with this.
Are you actually wearing pants? Stand up, would you?
Come on, I got the belt on. I don't have shoes on, but come on, I got dressed
What
up.
if you were just wearing like basketball shorts?
Well, you've seen the news interviews. There's guys like getting interviewed, and they stand up, and they're not wearing pants.
Oh, I know Amy's doing that for sure.
Oh, shout out! There's a watch party going on, right?
Yeah, Amy,
Who's
Marie, Lynn's, Amy's boyfriend Chad, aka Brad, who didn't seem that enthused, but I know he's tuning in.
You said his name is Brad?
His name's Chad, but I call him Brad.
Chad Brad, let me tell you, there's thousands of viewers across the world watching right now. Legendary people on the show only. Hence the Osler family, hence Lauren.
Sure,
so
sure.
Sit back, relax. Everybody else, Amy, Marie, and the watch party, thanks for watching. This is fun. I can do this all night, but I keep a tight show. All right, so enough about nursing. Rumor on the street says you're moving back to Pittsburgh.
Heard it here first.
Is this breaking news? Can we put this out?
Yeah.
Nah,
Summer 21.
So,
Mom is coming home.
wait, so not this summer? Next summer?
Next summer.
Oh my gosh. You know me. I'm gonna wait to see it. I'm gonna wait to see it to believe it.
You thought it was this summer.
I heard conflicting reports from the street.
I literally texted you this next a year from now.
I'm very skeptical.
That gives you plenty of time to get together your PowerPoint slide of all the rules.
Oh my gosh, you're too much. Other than family and friends, what do you miss about Pittsburgh?
Ooh. I do miss like the seasons because it's just hot as shit all year round here. I do miss like the snow. But like other than that, I feel like it's just my family and friends. Like honestly, like especially my family. Like
Yeah.
I live in probably arguably one of like the most beautiful cities ever.
You're making it
like,
seem like you live a tough life down there.
It's rough. Working 3 days a week. But I'll never have like my family is there. So like that's where I want to be. So I just have to like I feel like I figured out my life here. I like grew, I became independent, I established myself in my career. But now I'm ready to like come home and go to happy hour with Was.
Me too. Can I get an invite to that? But no, absolutely. I think you hit the nail on the head. And unfortunately, I haven't been able to do that. Like leave, work outside of the state for a little bit, and you know, I envy you. I look up to you being able to leave, especially to a beautiful city like Charleston, and you know, further your career, and then move back to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's awesome, just like you and me. I think we have awesome families, so we're grounded here. We have good people, so we're always going to come back.
Absolutely. You're gonna have to show me like what's even going on in Pittsburgh. I haven't lived there since I was like 18.
Well, Dell's is still open, so that's all we really need to know.
Wait, this is a funny. I have Jess. Okay, I'm about to put Jess on.
Hey, it's your show. You take over.
Okay. So Jessica Osler, my sister-in-law, used to work at Dell's. I love her so much. Someone came to the thing and said, I would like a twist with everything on it.
Okay.
She literally puts everything that Dell's has to offer. I'm like, so my dad, you know my dad, he's the biggest like jag off. Like he's the man. He's the man. He still like messes with her to this day. Sorry, Jess, I had to put you on blast. I love you so much.
Well, now you piqued my interest. Next time I'm going to Dell's, I'm ordering one with everything.
Twist with everything. She's like, I could just like hear her say it. So funny.
Dell's is a staple in Munhall for all of our thousands of viewers across the U.S. Well, Lauren, our talk show. I don't know what this is. I just make it up as I go along. It's coming to a close, but you said something when we were preparing for this that I want to touch on, and you said you wanted to be on The Bachelorette.
Yeah.
Well, I made some calls. I called some people. I took care of it for you. So
wait,
I have 4 potential bachelors waiting on the phone. They're waiting on the phone. You're gonna do a quick speed dating with them live on air, each one at a time. I'm talking 2 minutes, and then you will have to hand the rose out. This may be the most dramatic first episode in Bachelorette history. Lauren, are you ready?
Chris Harrison, yes.
Oh, you can't see what's on the screen, but it just got really real.
All right.
So let me get them queued up. I got 4 of them. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Man, you took that a lot better than I thought you were.
Oh, I'm down.
I was totally just messing. She's ready to do speed dating on the internet. Oh my gosh.
I would do it for you, Joe.
I wouldn't put you on the hook like that. All right, so without further ado,
so Lindsay, my roommate, she's like right behind me, moral support. She's just like, yeah.
What do you do?
She's jealous. She's like, let me pick the ones you didn't pick.
Oh my gosh, that would have been too funny. I put a funny graphic on, so hopefully everyone home's laughing. It was good. It was a good joke.
You made a Bachelor joke to my mom is. Are we still on the air?
Oh yeah, there's thousands. There's thousands watching.
I won't say what I was gonna say, but yeah, Lost appreciates that.
Well, Lauren, we're going to the end of our interview. I end with some rapid fire questions, and then you're off the hook.
Okay.
You ready for it?
Yep.
Travel anywhere in the world. Obviously, after all this crazy stuff's done, where are you going?
Ireland.
Great place. Favorite family vacation?
Myrtle Beach.
Classic.
I've tried. So fun.
That's awesome. This what we're going into the archives for this one. Favorite lunch item at St. Therese a la carte?
Oh, breadsticks.
That's the right answer. If there was a right answer, that's the right answer. And this is a crowd favorite. It's just, with the tons of messages and mail we've been getting, it's a crowd favorite. It comes up every rapid fire. Who's your favorite sibling? This is rapid fire.
No, I can't. I love them all so much. It's a lot. They're all great.
They are. You can't pick one. I gotta keep you on your toes, though. I gotta keep you on your toes.
I'm sure they were all like,
they're gonna be messing with you the next couple of days, and you deserve it.
I know, but I can't pick. They're great. They're perfect.
Well, you guys have an awesome family. Lauren, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be on the show. Hopefully we get to see you soon, and be safe down there in South Carolina, and we'll be talking soon.
Yes. Thank you, Joe. Love you.
All right, we'll see you. Bye.
Bye.
Lauren Osler, great lady, legendary family. I'm so glad she took time out of her day to be on my show. Shout out to all the nurses. It was Nurse Appreciation Week last week. The fans asked for it. I provided. I'm a man of the people. We got a nurse on, and Lauren is an awesome nurse. So can't thank her enough for being on the show. We got one final guest after the break, and then we'll be wrapping it up. We got Zachary Rudder, who's an artist. He is coming up next. So hang tight. We're going to get him on the hotline, and we will be right back. Thank you, guys. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. So glad we were to have Lauren on the show. Like I said, awesome family, great guests. Thanks for taking time out of our day to be here. I see you guys in the comments. Obviously, big shout out to my man Javo. He turns 30 next week, and he's a big part of this show. He actually has news background experience, unlike me. I just do this and put a suit on and pretend like I know what I'm doing. But Javo's the man. He kind of helps me every show. Not only does he do the intro in VO, does the voiceover for the intro, he helps me break down the shots and do various things. So Javo's the best. Kelly, I see you in the comments. DJ PDC, as always, you're my man. Gary, what's up, man? Breadsticks are the best. Cheesy breadsticks, can't go wrong. Good old St. Therese. Mom, I see you. My number one fan, my best manager. Just keep the gigs coming. Appreciate it. So without further ado, we have our next guest up. This is a very good friend of mine. Our final guest is Zachary Rutter. Zachary is an artist. He's a painter from Pittsburgh. And recently, his work has become very popular. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I will. I was his first client for paid work. He did some work for me at the Bank on 8th in the escape room. No big deal. So when he's all famous and is selling galleries out and doing all the big stuff, I just want to remember where he came from, and he came from working with me. So it's an absolute pleasure to have him on my show. Zach, how are you, my man?
I'm doing great, man. I'm happy to be here. I think this is the closest I'm going to get to being on Jimmy Fallon.
Hey, that's it, man. We all got a dream. Hey, and don't you say that, because you will be on that. And just save me a seat.
All right, will do, man. It'll have nothing on the intermission show, though.
Thanks, man. I'm so glad you took time out of your day to be here. First out, shout out to your mom. Hopefully she's watching, because without her, I don't think we would have connected. I mean, I obviously knew you kind of growing up, a couple years younger than me, but I put a post out when we were starting the escape room, the bank in Homestead, and I needed some custom artwork done in Tomb Explorer. It's an Egyptian room, and it was really custom. You couldn't get somebody to do it, and I put a post out. Your mom was like, Zachary can do it. I was like, okay. And you came down, you knocked it out of the park, and it's still in use to this day. I mean, we have a ton of people through the rooms every year, and they still use your Egyptian drawings for one of the puzzles. So you've come a long way, my man.
Absolutely, man. I was a freshman in college then. I was like 19 years old. That was the first time I ever had any opportunity to do anything. So I appreciate it, and I thank you thank you again for that too.
Anytime, man. I just want you to remember when you get all famous, save me a seat. I just want to be at Jimmy Fallon front row.
I'm waiting for it to happen. They keep telling me that's going to happen.
No, I'm so proud of you and how far you've come, and we'll get into that and some of the cool projects you've worked on in the last couple years. But I kind of want to know, how did your style start? I mean, obviously I commissioned you for a really custom piece for the escape room that has nothing to do with your artwork that you do now. And your artwork now it's iconic. If you see it out in Pittsburgh, I see it hanging in places. I'm like, that's my boy. So, you got your style, and I kind of want you to explain, if people don't notice, you paint over comics, correct?
Yep, that's right.
So, yeah, how'd you develop that?
So I actually started drawing as a little kid when I got a comic book. It was an issue of Spider-Man when I was like 6 or 7 years old, and that's what started everything. I was in college by the time I actually started painting. I drew all my life and didn't start painting until college. And the comic books actually came from procrastination. I needed to fill the surface with something from the final project, and I kind of slacked off and waited. So I thought, why not? What can I do? What can I do? Started gluing comic books to areas I didn't have finished, and ultimately loved the idea and started working with it and fine tuning it and making it more professional. So now it's been very rare that I actually paint on anything other than the comic books.
Yeah, I was gonna say, pretty much every time I see you post a photo of a canvas or something you've sold to someone, it always has that style behind it, and it's cool because it's yours. I haven't seen it done, and it's cool, man. It adds your flavor.
Thank you. So it also has like an underlying message to it as well. You know, the whole positivity thing that I try and put out with my art. The comic books are meant to represent the negativity. The painting on the surface of those negative comic books are images of positivity, and it's all pushing a positive message and remembering to spread love. So it's cool. I'm happy with it, and I love that people like it too.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I'm so proud of you and how far you come. And you're talking about spread love. Obviously, right over your shoulder, you got your iconic heart. Explain to me, how'd you come up with that?
So it was inspired by several different things. Keith Haring is the first big thing. I mean, a lot of artists have already come up to me, not even artists, art historians, people that enjoy it, come up to me and say, hey, that looks like Keith Haring. And it was directly inspired by him. He's an artist from the 80s. He's from Reading, Pennsylvania, and he worked alongside Andy Warhol. And he has a similar heart that really helped push my design and helped inspire my design.
It's awesome. You put it on a lot of your canvas that you sell, the commissions, and it's like your signature. And
well, it's not even meant to be that. It's the message. It's the spread love. I put it on everything so that people see it, and it's more so a reminder to people. When you see the heart, I want you to remember things aren't that bad. Start with the love in your heart and spread it to others. That heart is that symbol, that call to action. You see it. Remember to just be nice. If you pass a heart or you see it on a piece of work or wherever you come across it, just remember, hey, just be nice to someone that day, or just be positive and remember things are always going to get better and they're not so bad. And
yeah,
that's what I want it to be more so than it's a signature of my work.
And I don't want it to sound like it was signature in a negative way. I think it's a representation of you. So if people don't realize, like, this is Zach. He is like genuinely like the nicest dude ever. He has this spread love army that you could plug later. And
it's all a front. I'm evil. I'm actually evil. No,
he genuinely is like a nice guy. So it's not necessarily a signature of his name, but kind of like you said, it's bringing awareness to, hey, be good vibes, good people, and just spread love.
Definitely. Yeah. People love it so much, that's what makes me happy is seeing the way people react to it. And it has its own power, its own energy, and it is meant to represent positivity and just goodness.
Speaking of that heart, spreading love, you know where I'm going next.
I could only imagine.
The Spread Love bus. So my man, he got his artwork. You've told me this story, but I want you to tell the story. You got your artwork on a real Pittsburgh Pat bus. Tell me how this went down.
Social media. That's the simplest way to put it. I did a painting a couple years ago of a bus on a canvas, and I put the hearts all over it, tweeted it out to Port Authority and said, hey, wouldn't it be cool if I actually painted hearts, or we actually were able to put hearts on a real bus? And the CEO, Catherine Kelman, who I love to this day and I consider a good friend, loved the idea and immediately said, we're going to do that. We're going to put a bus out there that just reminds people to be nice, be happy. It's a bright, colorful reminder to spread love. And it all came from a tweet on Twitter.
It's crazy how the internet works, man.
Seriously. No, for real. I think people are seeing the power of the internet now more than ever. I mean, with everything being shut down, this is the resource to put out content, connect with each other. So it's a powerful thing when used correctly.
Yeah, and I agree. And like you said, you kind of, if you got a skill, you got a craft, don't be afraid to take those risks and send those tweets out, those DMs. I mean, when you told me the story, I think you just said you got a hold of her somehow, DM maybe, and like it was like the CEO of the Port Authority, and then the wheels just started churning, and that was all because you sent that message.
It wasn't even like, it was more so I was hoping to get a retweet. I didn't say, like I said, wouldn't it be cool thinking they just retweeted or hearted or comment, and then they follow up with a direct message, and I'm just like, wow, there's a bus, here we go.
That's so cool.
It changed my life. I owe everything to that bus for sure.
Yeah, so people around the city take pictures of it, and they tag Zachary. It's so awesome. I love when you share those photos on your Instagram. It's so much fun to
If
see.
you guys go to my website, ZacharyRudderArt.com, my fiance actually uploads all those photos to the website. There's a whole Spread Love Army page. You can see all the photos everyone sends. With usually their profiles are included as well. So it's cool to see that so many people see it, love it, and share it.
It's so awesome, man. And you can't see it, but when you watch it back later on YouTube, you'll see I got a slideshow of some of your art pieces on rotation. And one of the pieces that just came up was the Mac Miller one at the Blue Slide Park Memorial. You want to explain a little bit how that came about and how it went down?
So that was just a fan that came to the ceremony or to the candlelit vigil. I saw that on Twitter or Facebook or one of those platforms that they were going to have a candlelit vigil there. I did a painting of Mac Miller several years before he passed away of him just rapping that I actually got him to autograph at a show in Edinburgh. And when he passed away, I was like, it's time to do another Mac painting. At that same moment of having that feeling, I saw that they were having the vigil, and I was like, I want to paint this with the people that will appreciate it. Showed up bright and early, called off of work that day. This is back when I was still working for a company, and just showed up, and throughout the whole day, hundreds of thousands of people kept coming up to me and just saying, like, this is awesome, as I'm painting it. And it was a magical, special moment that I'm going to cherish forever.
Yeah, I was definitely, talk about iconic moments. I definitely remember, you going out there and painting it and seeing it all over social media. And I believe you were on the news as well.
Yeah, I got interviewed by several different news anchors or journalists or whatever they're called. It was the first time that's ever happened. It was crazy. I honestly didn't expect any of that. That painting was something that I wanted to do just because I love Mac Miller's music, and I just felt like I had to do it,
That's awesome, man. Like I said, I'll never stop saying I'm so proud of you, and so cool to see how far you've come. Without wrapping up too quickly, I normally do a skit kind of with every guest I have on. So if you watched the show last week, maybe you didn't, we do a Throwback Thursday. So what I do a deep dive on your Instagram. I went all the way back to your first photo.
Oh God, it's gonna be good. I think I know what it is. I know what it is.
We're not gonna use the first photo, but I went all the way back. It was like your first photo. I do know this. It was like a picture, I think, of the Eiffel Tower.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Were you in Paris?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got to do a lot of traveling when I was a student at Slippery Rock University, so I got to check out Paris.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure that's your first photo. So we didn't use the first one, but I think we used like your seventh one, and I think it's a good story. I try to pick pictures that tell a story, and you're not going to be able to. You're not going to be able to see it. Okay. I'm going to try to explain it to you, and then you're going to give the story behind it.
Oh man.
So we'll put it up on the screen. Little Throwback Thursday. This is actually a picture of you. It looks like you're painting a car at a party.
Okay.
And I know you've painted cars before. I'm not sure which one this was. You got your iconic heart on the hood. But it's like a party. You're like in a white tent. It's like late at night.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Give me the story.
Okay, so that was like the first thing I ever did in Pittsburgh as like an art event, an art show. That was for the first Friday gallery crawls up on Penn Avenue, and it was the lot on Penn, is what they call it. Someone ended up having a BMW. His name was Adam West, but I don't think he was Batman. And he asked me to paint his BMW. I was like, let's have a party, throw a whole thing. Had a bunch of people come out to it. We had drinks, we had food, and I painted the car in I think about 8 hours. That was back in 2017, so that's a throwback. The BMW art car event, if you guys remember, if you were there.
That's awesome. And you painted another vehicle since then, right?
I don't know how I fell into this vehicle guy thing, but I've actually painted several different vehicles. The bus, a lot of people think it was painted, but it was actually professionally vinyl wrapped.
Yeah.
That thing's permanent and beautiful and exactly how it should be. But I've gotten to paint a motorcycle. I've gotten to paint a bicycle for the city, a Healthy Ride bike. I did see that. RV. I've painted so many vehicles, it's unreal. And I'm loving it. I'm never going to turn down a crazy opportunity.
I would never expect you to turn down anything. You'll paint on any surface, and I'm just so excited to see where your career will go, because I feel like in the last couple of years it's just exploded, and I think every year you're just getting a little bit better. So I'm glad to call you a friend, and have you in my circle, and it's just fun to watch.
Hey man, you started it all. Let's never forget, Joe DC started it all, man.
Hey, I'm just wearing a suit in the middle of like Thursday night because I'm unemployed right now. So I don't know about that.
Hey, dude, this is my first time wearing a collared shirt in a while. I did this just for you.
If I had a nickel for every time somebody hit me up, they're like, "This is the first time I'm wearing clothes in weeks." So
That's awesome.
that's it, my man. Zachary, you're the man. Like I said, I can't wait to see where your career goes in the next couple of years. I'm glad to call you a friend. Thanks for taking time on your day to be on the show. And hopefully we get to do this again.
Absolutely, man. Anytime. I'm always down. This is awesome. I'm happy to be here.
Thanks, man. Well, have a good day. Stay safe out there. And hopefully we'll be able to work on some events soon.
You too, man. Spread love.
All right, we'll see you, bud.
Later.
Bye. Zachary's the man. Again, legendary family. I think it's a prereq to be on the show. You got to be awesome people, awesome family, awesome friends. This show's been so much fun. I got to have people that I haven't talked to or worked with in a while, and it's nice to rekindle those relationships and look forward to the future and have some fun with this stuff. That's the end of the show. I don't know if I missed any of the comments. It's so hard to keep up with the comments while I'm running this show and pushing all the buttons. Oh, my man TJ the DJ in the chat. SRU alum. Okay. TJ's the man too. Again, part of the crew, currently unemployed. Without him, this wouldn't be possible. TJ, myself, and PDC, we put a lot of time into setting up this live stream stuff. This isn't just one camera. We got multiple cameras. We got multiple feeds. It's a lot of fun. I personally like it. I love the technology side of this stuff. So it's fun to pass the time. So that's it. That's going to wrap up the show. Look forward next week. We're going to keep on doing it. We got some cool guests lined up. I typically announce them on Tuesday, Wednesday when I get everything locked in with them. So just keep an eye out. We got some really cool people coming up next week. And thanks for tuning in. You guys are awesome. We'll see you guys.